I'm Marcelo Lagreze. I'm a filmmaker, editor, director, and expertise mobile filmmaking. I'm a bachelor's degree in cinema and TV, and I work in advertising as director too. My preferred job is do documentaries, specialist with the mobile. I prefer the mobile. When I was traveling in different places and situations, and I began to record this trip. It was around Africa and some part of Europe. I even have my camera with my lenses and all my equipment, but I noticed that most powerful moments and situations happens when I have my phone. And our phones began to create different relations with reality because it's more spontaneous. And my best stuff and footage become to be with the phone, and it's more easy to carry on and more faster. That's become my relation with the mobile filmmaking. For example, my first documentary was in a social explosion here in Chile. It was in a crowd, was destroying the things, and nobody wants to be shooting because it's not so simple to be shooted. But everybody was with the iPhone, and because it was fast and was easy to move in the crowd and more easy to be hiding in the crowd, getting the image. Was my first moment that I really said, okay, here is a potential, here I got something, and I become into the crowd and talk with the people without problem and capture moments that in another way will be impossible. Every project have his own technical situation. I used to use sometimes Filmic Pro and sometimes Blackmagic for capture, but I try to keep it simple, you know. Sometimes I have to use a grip, sometimes I have to use an ND filters or some lens, but I like to have the phone more easy and light as possible. Sometimes a lens is very good because you can have more cinematic image, but for me I like to have the in my hands, you know, like I have the power in my hands, and it's more I try to keep as more simple as possible. And for editing, the tool like always I use is Premiere with some plugins. But for me, it's just a tool. And when you are in front of this footage and you can interpret and separate yourself of maybe what you think and what you have really, the film is become to breathe, it's become to show what you have and become to tell you, hey man, maybe you think this, but now you have this, and become his own way, his own form. The films is become to be himself. Of course have his own ecosystem because become like this, own festivals, own apps, and of course it's a different way, like I told before, to can you affront the situation, and even the equipment and the team is different because you don't need maybe so big team. But at the same way it's cinema too, because you have to use the lights, you have to frame, you have to talk with the actors, and even the workflow is the same. You have to script, sometimes in the documentary, even you have that treatment, and then you have to shoot, and then you have to post production too. And it's the same like classic cinema. That's because for me, is in some way, yes, have his own ecosystem, but in another, is in the same level. Both realities, you know, you have this ecosystem, but at the same time it's itself at the cinema. In this way I'm a documentary man, and I am very open mind of this. I like even more the mobile filmmaking because it makes me more intimate and more open. I can be more open. For me, this is about the contemplation of how you looks the reality, is that always is important for me. But not the other. Maybe it's not the team, not the technical situation. It's about how you affront the reality and how you capture them with open mind. It's like an open book, and you can write what you want. I'm not attached for to one device forever. I'm more interested in what each tool can reveal. I think it can survive, but I don't know if it's a smartphone could be, I don't know, hologram later, or have another way to shoot, you know. Now we got these phones, and if you compare these phones with, I don't know, 3 years before, you even are now recording in RAW. It's a craziness, you know. I think it will be another tool, and the tools are doing evolution and are changing. For example, in my university thesis, I do my thesis about formats, and I shoot a short film with broadcast camera, pocket cameras, mini DV cameras at this moment, and even high 8, high 8 format. Even now, we are living in a reality with artificial intelligence that you even don't imagine 2 years or 3 years before. And it's about how how you use this format for the right moment that you want to express with the people, and how we want to connect with this, with the texture or the way that it's been shooting. It's a difficult situation even for me in my work. I work in advertising, and I'm doing right now this. Uh, in some way, I like it, but in another part, I am a romantic of cinema. I shoot in negative when I was young, no? And for me, artificial intelligence don't have this organic thing that it happens when you are shooting, even with the mobile. These surprise things that give you something different, because I understand about prompting because I'm doing, but don't give you surprise. The surprise that give you right now, I don't know later, is like you have three eyes, or the man have six fingers, or I don't know, or don't act like what you want. Yes, it's a very good tool, but I'm a romantic. I prefer the cinema like it is, you know. It's another tool, but I prefer the other. I like the films that invite to reflection, to don't give you everything explained or digested. It, it leaves space for you to think, and you have your own conclusion. And that's something I always admire to certain filmmakers, like, for example, Werner Herzog or Patricio Guzman from Chile. Are films built through the observation, contemplation, silence, and emotion. And in some way, yes, the for me the inspiration is not really about a smartphone only. It's more about the way that you will use something to express your feeling, or what you want to create this feeling to show to these people. And for me, these films are that this is the idea, but the conclusion is in you. I think Herzog or Patricio Ram or this type of filmmakers are, for me, I like it. I like it so much. At first time, mobile filmmaking became about accessibility and convenience because it's very useful and so close to me. But it begins to be part of the cinema in general. Even directors, classic directors, are become to use it like a tool. Directors that use negative, and this makes me think that it's about another way to show the cinema, but at the same time, it's not at the secondary form of cinema. It's a very alive one, and that's in my own work, it's become a genuine part of how I see and how I tell stories. I think this is the genuine way for me, because I feel that become like a tool, and that give me these works that I think in another way I will not do it.